Guy asked a question.
Okay, so, with both goalies letting in a couple of goals in the first period, what was your thought process on who you're going to send out in the second period?
Well, our goaltending has been such a strong piece of our team here, and Rumps would like that first one back, and then Petey would like that third goal back. So they were a little bit of a hole there for us, and in the back of my mind, even when Petey was in there, I wondered whether or not Rumps was going to go back in depended on how Petey played and how he looked. If he looked sharp, we might have left him in there, but he struggled, so that decision was made easy. And Rumps went in there and looked tremendous. In that second period, he looked really good. His movements were very fluid, athletic, and very powerful. So it was a good decision. And what he basically said, I'm here, boys. Let's get going with his play, and that was a good statement by him.
Andy.
Mike, you said after last night's loss that you would find out a lot about your players, that they'd be able to look around the room to see who's putting forth effort, who's not putting forth effort. How did that translate into the first 30 minutes of tonight's game?
Well, the first 20 was disappointing. I thought we stood around and we watched again and we didn't respond like I thought we would have, and maybe the shock of last night was still lingering in their little bodies, but the test was in the second and third. Guys missed ice. We were just, if guys weren't doing what they needed to do, they sat on the bench with the coaches and they missed ice time. Enough's enough. And I think that was a good thing to do at that time.
And Andy.
I asked you a couple of weeks ago if you thought you'd lost this team. Is that anywhere near where you are at this point in time?
Sometimes I wonder with the angle that you come in with these questions, and I answered that question 2 weeks ago, and the answer is still the same.
Left, Andy.
You guys are through 20 games now. How much progress do you realistically think that your team has made so far, and how much more do you think that this team has left in them to go?
How do you measure that, Andy? Inches?
In terms of how much further from the start of the season, the level that they were at, to how they're playing?
I can tell you this: we've improved, and there's lots of improvement to go. But I don't know how you quantify it. When you grow a plant in the ground and you plant the seed, you can measure how it's growing. How do you do that with a group of young people? I can tell you that they're better, and there's lots of room to grow. How's that?
Here in the front.
Against a high-powered offense like Michigan, did you guys go into the game accepting that you were going to have a lot fewer chances, or was it sort of a little bit of a surprise at how many more opportunities they had? Did that factor into the game plan, knowing there was a probability you guys would be outshot in this game?
So you're talking about this game specifically? Tonight?
Yeah.
As opposed to last night? Well, they lead the country in goals for, so we knew that coming in. And we knew part of the formula tonight was our goaltenders would have to be good. Part of our plan tonight was hopefully to play better without the puck so that we would have the puck more and play in there. And so that was the plan. It didn't come to fruition like we thought, and we ended up with the score that we did.
Andy.
Mike, when you bench you guys tonight, did you see the results you wanted to see immediately, or are you still kind of waiting to see how it's going to play out here in the coming days with practice and next week with Minnesota?
I think that the line has been drawn in the sand. It's interesting when you're working with college kids as opposed to pro. Like, we can't trade for people. We can't send people down and bring people up. This is the group we have. So the fact is that we have to use measures that are going to be somewhat stimulating, and part of the accountability now is ice time missed, no matter who it is. Schulze missed ice time. LeBate missed ice time. Bessie missed ice time. Pappy missed ice time. The line is drawn in the sand. We're going to a new level, and it's about accountability and keep moving forward. And this is all part of the process of us getting better. And so it's not the first time that this type of thing has happened with the team, and it's going to continue.
Andy.
With the benchings that you talked about, is it more effort Was it more paying attention to detail?
Yes, yeah, not effort. I mean, poor Brad Navin, the kid has got such a big heart. He takes a penalty in the third period for Brad, what are you doing? Like, you got to sit down and miss some shifts. Like, that's a great heart, but just not very intelligent. So it's coming down to things like that where we've got to, draw those lines, hold them accountable, and maybe that'll be a part of the solution for us to keep growing now.
Okay.
Why wasn't the line drawn earlier this year?
Well, I think because of the youth and the patience and trying to work them through some stuff, but we're at a different point in the season, so this is a new kind of, not new, but we're using an old tactic at this point in the season.
Any further questions? Right here, one more.
Coach, what silver linings, if any, is there from tonight's game?
Oh, I think there's always something. The fact that we didn't give up a power play goal by them is a good thing for our group. I know that Coach Shuey takes great pride in that, and those kids, they work every week at it. And the fact that they didn't give one up, that's a positive for our team.